everyone, I am Ashley N. Pereira, AB Psychology from 2G3, and now I'm going to transform as Erich Fromm. What are we waiting for? Let us all welcome the humanistic psychoanalysis, Mr. Erich Fromm. In order to understand my theory of humanistic psychoanalysis, it's necessary to get to know me as a person, to understand my roots, the context in which I grew up, and the developing world that made me most immediate reality. This will shed light on the things that have served as a guidance and inspiration for my choice.
For the overview, we have biography. Second, basic premise of humanistic psychoanalysis. Third, we have human needs. We have burden of freedom, the character orientation, and methods of investigation. And last, critic of Fromm.
I was born in 1900s in Frankfurt, Germany. My father was a businessman and my mother was frequently depressed. In other words, like quiet view of people will look. My childhood wasn't very happy. Like you, I came from a religious family. In my case, Orthodox Jews. I myself later became what I call an aesthetic mystic. So in this session, I'm going to discuss my different views. So first, let us start with my basic assumptions. I believe that humans have been torn away from being prehistoric union with nature and left with no powerful instincts to adapt to the changing world. But because humans have acquired the ability to reason, they can think about their isolated condition. A situation, I called it the human dilemma. People experience this basic dilemma because they have become separate from nature and yet have the capacity to be aware of themselves as isolated beings. So next we have human needs. The existential needs have emerged during the evolution of human culture, growing out of their attempts to find answer to their existence. So next we have relatedness. It drives people to unite with another person or group of people through submission, power, and love. As a human being, we are aware of our separateness from each other and we will make a hope to overcome it. We have the four basic elements of genuine love, including care, responsibility, respect, and courage. And next we have transcendence, the need for people to rise above their passive existence and create or destroy life by malignant aggression. We humans can be creative in different ways. We can create art, religion, ideas, law, material production, and love. But we can also transcend life by destroying it. Thus, rising above slave victims year 1973, I argued that humans are the only species to use malignant aggression, means to kill for reason or to kill for survival. And also we have the rootedness. It is the need for a consistent structure in people's life. Without the rootedness, the feelings of isolation and helplessness can become unbearable. So let us proceed to sense of identity. It is a capacity to aware of ourselves as a separate entity. People were identified by their social role. Historically, people identified most closely with their clan and didn't see themselves as existing part of a group. Next, we have frame of orientation. It is consistent way of looking at the world. So to make it clear, it is the need of a person to develop and synthesize their major assumptions and ideas into a coherent view of the summary of my human needs. The first one, we have the relatedness, the transcendence, rootedness, sense of identity, frame of orientation. So let's proceed to negative components of relatedness. It is a submission or domination. And the positive components is love. While the transcendence, the negative components is destructiveness, and the positive components is creativeness. Rootedness, the negative components is fixation, the positive components is controlledness. Next, sense of identity, the negative components is adjustment to a group, and the positive components is individuality. Next, frame of orientation. Negative components, we have irrational goals, the positive components, rational goals. So, let me discuss to you the burden of freedom. The burden of freedom results from human being, from nature yet remaining in the world with the same physical limitations as other animals. So, for you to understand the burden of freedom, people have been torn away from nature, yet they remain part of the natural world, subject to the same physical limitations of other animals. Only animals possessing self-awareness, imagination, and reason. Freaks of the universe. Reason is both a curse and a blessing, responsible for feelings of isolation and loneliness. Also, process that enables humans to become united with the world. Both political and economic power increase feelings of isolation. In general, people have more freedom to move geographically and social status. They in turn become separated from their roots and isolated from each other. Let's proceed to mechanism of escape. So, other mechanisms of escape are the withdrawal from the world so completely that it loses its threat, and the inflation of oneself psychologically to such an extent that the world outside becomes small in comparison. So, under of it, we have authoritarianism. It is a tendency to give up the independence of one's own individual self and to fuse oneself with somebody or something outside oneself. The first is the need to make others independent on oneself and to gain power over those who are weak. The second is the compulsion to exploit others, to take advantage of them and to use them for one's benefit or pleasure. The third, we have sadistic tendency. It is the desire to see others suffer, either physically or psychologically. Next, we have destructiveness. It is rooted in the feelings of aloneness, isolation, and powerlessness. Next, we have conformity. People who conform try to escape from a sense of aloneness and isolation by giving up their individuality and becoming whatever other people desire them to be. And now let us proceed to characteristic of orientations. The first one, we have receptive orientation. It is the feeling that the source of all good lies outside themselves and that the only way they can relate to other worlds is to receive things. We have the negative qualities. For example, we have the positivity. Second, we have the submissiveness. Third, we have the lack of confidence. And on the other hand, we have the positive traits such as loyalty, acceptance, and trust. Next type of orientation, we have exploitative orientation. It is aggressively take what they desire rather passively receive it. We have the negative side and the positive side of exploitative. The first one, on the negative side, we have egocentric, we have conceited, arrogant, and seducing. On the positive side, we have impulsive, proud, charming, and self-confidence. The third orientation, we have hoarding. Rather than valuing things outside themselves, it seeks to save that which they have already obtained. And in this orientation, we have negative and positive characteristics or traits. In negative traits, we have rigidity, obstinacy, lack of creativity. While in the positive characteristics, we have orderliness, cleanliness, and punctuality. For the last orientation, we have marketing. Marketing characteristics see themselves as commodities with their personal value dependent on their exchange value, that is, their ability to sell themselves. And in this marketing, we have the negative traits and the positive qualities. So let's proceed to negative traits. In negative traits, we have the aimless, the opportunistic, the inconsistent, and wasteful. In positive qualities, we have the open-mindedness and generosity. Productive orientation. So, under the productive orientations, we have 3 dimensions, including working, loving, and reasoning thinking. So let us first discuss the working. So working as a means of creative and self-expression. Loving, it is concerned with the growth and development of themselves as well as others. And lastly, we have the reasoning thinking, which cannot be separated from productive work and love. So next, my methods of investigation. My personality theory rests on data I gathered from a variety of sources, including psychotherapy, cultural anthropology, and psychohistory. Next, social character in a Mexican village. I spent several years in investigating social character in an isolated farming village in Mexico and found evidence of all the character orientations except the marketing one. Next, we have critic of psychoanalytic theory. The stand of my theory is lucid writings on a broad range of human issues. As a scientific theory, however, my theory rates very low on its ability to generate research and to learn its self-falsification. It rates low on usefulness to the practitioner, internal consistency, and parsimony because it is quite broad in scope. My theory rates high on organizing existing knowledge. And lastly, we have the concept of humanity. I believe that humans are the freaks of the nature because they lack strong animal instincts while possessing the ability to reason. In brief, my view is rated average on free choice, optimism, unconscious influences, and uniqueness, low on causality, and high on social influences. So for me, it isn't incredible at all, but if you just open your eyes, you see it, there is most people pretend that they are happy even to themselves. Because if you are unhappy, you are considered as a failure. So you must wear the mask of being satisfied of happy, because otherwise you will lose credit on the market. So before I end this discussion, I want to leave you a motivational quote, which is, mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but it is more common